Hey guys, it's Dan Martin and it's on education. And today I'm super excited because we're going to take a little break from the usual analysis of educational issues and teaching techniques, and we're going to talk about putting your class on YouTube. And so we're going to first show you how to use PowerPoint to record your lesson. And then we will talk about in another lesson about how to upload that into a YouTube channel that you've created for yourself. And so I'm super excited about the topic today. It's one of my first how-tos, so please be kind. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing that you want to do is pull up your YouTube slide that you want to present. And here we have conveniently, it's entitled Put Your Class on YouTube, Reach Your Audience Everywhere and at Any Time. And so when you pull up your slide, typically it pulls up to the home screen that looks like this. And what you can do here is just go over, it has insert, draw, design, so forth, and you can go to record, the one that's right next to slideshow. And then that will pull up options that look like this. You can just go and start from the beginning. The beginning is always a great place to start. And it will pull up a slide that looks like this. And typically, you won't have your camera on. I've already recorded on this slide, so it has my slideshow pulled up. But if you, the first thing that you'll need to do is come over here to the three little dots, and you'll need to select your microphone. Here, mine's set to Microsoft, or Yeti stereo microphone. That's the one that I'm recording on. I'll pull that a little bit closer so that you can see it. And if you don't have one plugged in, it'll probably default to the microphone that is on your laptop or your PC. And then down here, you'll see camera. And so I have selected my HP True Vision camera, and that's the camera that comes on my laptop. And really, for most of these presentations, that will be fine. You're only going to have a very small picture of yourself in the lower right-hand corner if you decide to have that at all. You can also decide just to record your voice and blank out your camera, so that's an option as well. And so let's record. And since I've already made a recording on this slide, I can edit that recording by going to this option right here. It's a little circle with an arrow on it, and it'll say retake video on current slide or on all slides. And so here you can, if you go through and record a slide and you mess up or want to retake it for any reason, you can just do it on the current slide that you're on. I'm going to do it on all slides for this time because I want to, you all to see what it looks like when you first start out recording. Okay, so here we go. 3, 2, 1. And we are on. And so I am recording just on the current slide. And I had blocked out my camera so I don't see my picture here in the right hand corner. So I might want to just start off this way, and then on the next slides I might want to actually record my face while I'm talking. And so we are going to talk about putting your class on YouTube, reach your audience anywhere, anytime. And so just give a little introduction to your topic here and what you plan on doing. All right. And so now we can go on to the next slide. All right. On this next slide, it says, why should you go to the trouble, right? Why should you go to the trouble of putting your class on YouTube? All right. So I'm going to stop the slide here, or the recording here. And I'm going to go up here, and I'm actually going to select my camera. HD True Vision, okay? And here I want to turn my camera on, okay? And so here I am talking to you again. All right, so now I'm going to record this with my face. So I'm going to retake on the current slide. And again, it will give you a countdown, let you know when you're on. So don't forget that. All right, so now I would say, hey guys, why should you go to the trouble to put your class on YouTube? And the first thing is it saves time. All right, so one of the big frustrations for me was to constantly be reteaching concepts when students missed and came back into my classroom. We have the Kentucky State Fair, and it is a wonderful fair, and it is so cool. But the only problem with the fair is the fair started after school started. And so kids, especially the ag kids, would be going to the Kentucky State Fair to present, any kind of wonderful things that they do, soil judging. They had different animals that they presented. So they were super excited, but they would miss almost a week of class. And so when they came back in, I would have to meet with a bunch of them after school to represent the material and reteach the material. And so when I finally made videos, I didn't make them on YouTube. I made them using QuickTime, which was okay, but YouTube is so much better. I loved having those video presentations so I could say, hey kids, watch these videos outside of class. Come back in with questions, and I'd be glad to answer those for you. Also, when you have to miss yourself, you can have the subs show your presentations as well. Another reason to put your class on YouTube is reach. You can reach more students this way. A lot of times you would have homebound students in your class. They would be out for prolonged periods of time with an illness or maybe they had an accident and they had to be home. So if you had a homebound student, you could send those links to those videos to your students, and the homebound teacher will love you for it, because a lot of times they would have a hard time presenting your content if they didn't have a background. Effectiveness is another reason I have listed here. Sometimes you have students in class that are just slow note takers, and they can actually take the notes before they come into class and then get a second presentation from you in person, and then you can answer any questions that they might have. Also, sometimes you'd have students that were easily distracted in class. And so if you've taught long enough, no matter what grade you teach, you have those students who just can't seem to concentrate in class. There's too much going on. Their classmates are distracted or distractive to them, or in high school, you had relationships going on in class. And so sometimes those things make it hard for people to concentrate, and they could rewatch your videos over again and get a second presentation. And a lot of times, just being able to sit in a quiet room with your headphones on and really concentrating helped students a lot. Organize. So this is really cool. A lot of times if you teach a subject and you teach things maybe back to back to back, maybe back to back to back chemistry ones, and so you're going along talking and you're going, I wonder if I just said this or if I just said this in the last class period. And so you would forget if you've taught something or not while you're teaching it. I know that sounds weird, but I guarantee you, especially when you get to be my age, that is a big concern. So it helps you keep organized. You can also put your assignments at the end of the slide. And so if somebody misses, they'll know what problems to do in the handouts or in a textbook that you have a certain assigned problem. So it helps you keep organized that way too. Sometimes it might seem overwhelming that you would have to go through and make all these lessons. But if you have teachers that are teaching the same course in your school, like we had multiple sections of Chemistry 1, for example, you can collaborate with with your fellow teachers to each of you do a different unit or lesson, and that helps out a lot. You can also collaborate with your parents. It may be years since they've had high school English or high school math, or maybe it was taught in a totally different way. And if you can have these videos on there, the parents can watch them as well and help their kids. Tutors find these extremely beneficial as well, because when you have tutors, they don't know exactly how you teach something, or it may be a while since they've had the subject as well. We had a lot of really great students that were willing to help us tutor. Maybe they had the subject their freshman or sophomore year, and they're a junior or senior this year, and they're willing to stay after school and help tutor. We paid them to do so. And so these videos can be very beneficial for them to help them brush up and to figure out how you want the material presented. Okay, so now let's go on to the next slide, slide 3, and present the material there. Now, evidently, I have presented the material on slide 3, so we're going to just stop the video. And on slide 3, we'll re-record. Okay, so on slide 3, we're going to re-record what we recorded previously and hit record. All right, and so now we're recording on slide 3, and it says here it's easy to organize your content. We already mentioned that. But this slide is entitled, How Should You Present Your Material? Spoiler alert, PowerPoint's a great choice. Of course, we already talked about how cool PowerPoint is, but I want to point out some of the features. And really, we talked about this before. Each slide is its own lesson, and so you can re-record. So if you mess up, you can stop, you can re-record on that slide, and it just makes it a lot easier. And it eliminates the necessity for editing software. So, if you did one continuous recording, you would have to go and find that spot in the recording and edit that, either delete it and then splice in another video or whatever you want it to do. But with PowerPoint, you can re-record each slide as you need to. You can record your slide with your voice or your image or both. You can use your desktop or laptop camera and a USB microphone. That's what I'm using here, this Yeti USB. It's easy to upload to your computer, and then to YouTube. We'll do the first part of that. We'll put it into a file that we can upload at the end of this thing. Once you have a lesson, you can easily edit and reuse it each school term. So you can pull up your PowerPoint and you can add slides, and you can move those slides around as needed to reload your recording. So you can easily change your material from year to year or from semester to semester. So those are all excellent points about using PowerPoint recordings to record your lesson. Okay. So other software that I might recommend, OBS is in fact, I'm using that right now. It's called Open Broadcast Studio. It's a free software where you can record your lessons from your computer. It allows you to record from multiple cameras if you want to get fancy. That's actually what I'm doing now. I'm using my HP Hewlett-Packard 4K camera. I got it on top of my laptop, and I'm using it to record while I record the PowerPoint slide. So you'll see two images of me there, one on top and one to the side. And so I'm actually doing that now using OBS. You can do multiple scenes, so you can switch from your full image to your image just on your PowerPoint. So there's all sorts of applications there. The learning curve is steeper than just doing a PowerPoint recording. It might take you a little while to get used to the software. and it's called Open a Broadcast Studio. It is a software that's totally free, and it is open source, which means that you could actually download it. And if you're computer savvy, or I don't know how to put it, but if you are really good at software development, or if you know something about coding, you could probably put your own programs in there. The only disadvantage to that is there's really no great customer service with it, since it's something that's free, that's put up on the internet. But having said that, there are a lot of tutorials on YouTube on how to use OBS. Same thing with DaVinci Resolve. It's a video editing software. Okay, so this is one that you would use to upload your videos and maybe put B-rolls in, and maybe put some music into it and so forth. And it is similar to Final Cut Pro or other editing software that you might find on a Mac. The only disadvantage to it is it's like OBS. It's open source. It can be a bit buggy at times, and the learning curve is a bit sharp for it. I may put up some tutorials with OBS and DaVinci Resolve. There are a lot of them on the internet, and they're, I don't know, they're okay, but it still takes a lot of hands-on and trial and error to get good at them. I've used them both regularly. I'm not an expert on it. I just have figured out how to use it to get the things done that I need to. Microsoft 11 is promoting that their new software allows for easy screen recording. I've not tried it yet. Well, I take that back. I have a little bit, because they had the same thing on Microsoft 10. The only disadvantage to that is that I'm using something called a screen recording software now, but it's really not a screen recording software for Microsoft 11. What they do is they record an application, and so if you change applications, it quits recording. So you can record an application, okay, but I even found sometimes when you switch within an application from one recording to, or one screen to the next, it stops recording. And so you might have to make multiple recordings and splice them together to use it effectively. That's just my take on it. You may know how to use it better than I do. So there. So what you do after you finish, we finish recording here, we'll hit stop. Okay. And then we will hit this export button here to the side. Okay. And we will hit export video. All right. And so I'm going to edit this afterwards and cut out this, but I'm going to show you what you'll end up seeing a lot of times and how to handle it. And you'll see a little red line to the left as it works through exporting your video. So exporting, put your class on YouTube, and it'll be an MP4 file. It says here video resolution is a full HD 1080p, and it says file location OneDrive personal. Okay, so I don't think I have that set up, and so when it finally gets to the end, it's going to say it doesn't find it, and then I'm going to exit out of it, and then I'm going to say, then I'm going to pick a file on my hard drive to put the video. Okay, so after the recording is downloaded, I always get this up from my Windows account. It says connecting to d.docs.live.net, and I actually don't have an account here, and so I'm going to press cancel here. If you have an account like this, a Microsoft account, it would go right into that file, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to press cancel here, and then it's going to come up, put your class on YouTube, MP4 cannot be uploaded because the designation location is no longer available. Do you want to save to a different location? And we'll push yes here. And then I'm just going to put it in my videos folder. So I will name it Put Your Teaching Little Fingers to Type Class on YouTube, and export it. And there it goes. It goes right into that file folder. And we are on. And so I am recording. Okay. So here is the video. And you can scroll through here. When students missed and came back into my classroom, we have the Kentucky State Fair. So there you go. It is a wonderful fair. And so you have cool. A MP4 file that you can load directly onto YouTube. After school started. So there is a quick tutorial on how to add your class to YouTube. I hope you've enjoyed it. Of course, we didn't actually make the YouTube channel and go through that process, but we'll do that in the next instructional video. And I hope you realize that PowerPoint Recorder is a powerful tool. Now, I'm sure that there's other ways that you can record your lessons, but this one's particularly, I think, easy to use. I've used some of the other ones as well. I've done it with OBS, and I've attempted to use Microsoft 10 to record my screen, and I didn't find those to be quite as intuitive and easy as just recording your PowerPoint slides. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Watch for the next video, which we will make our YouTube channel and upload the video. And with YouTube, they've improved their editor a bit, and so you can do some editing on YouTube itself. And then we might even do a DaVinci Resolve video, a short one, to show you some of the features of that. There are lots of videos on DaVinci Resolve. The only problem is they're not specifically for this application. So I hope you enjoyed it. May you have a blessed day. Peace.